So the teams are making their way out, led out by your match umpires today, Rob Brownbridge and Dan Reid. It's a relatively quick return for Dan Reid, I feel.
That's right, it is, yes. He's, I'm sure he's looking forward to this.
Beeston in the black and yellow halved shirts, black shorts and yellow socks. East Grinstead in the traditional white, blue and white. This is the match day 16 and drawing your attention to the star by Vikram Sandhu. It's a late call-up for Vikram Sandhu. He's replacing Ali Richmond, who's late withdrawal with sickness. But other than that, it's as you were in the published team sheet from last night.
That's right. A few other slight changes. No Robbie Gleeson today. He's away with the Trent College side. They've been in Barcelona, and of course that's taken Stephen Wood as well, the coach for the day. So there's a few little tweaks they've had to make to get organised for this week.
Indeed, something as well that I was going to be more cognizant of before the start of the game was Jamie Golden's performance in Malaysia at the Sultan of Johor Cup, because the first match against South Africa was, I think, 11:30 this morning.
That's right.
So I wasn't able to keep an eye on that, but we'll have a look at that in due course. East Grinstead, it's a settled side after quite a few changes over the summer.
Yeah, I think they're beginning to get some form and some standard of their play, and it is a settled side. A couple of strong players in there as well. Simon Faulkner as captain, penalty corner taker, scored a lot of goals, and Lewis Prosser, 150 caps for Wales, and former captain of Surbiton as well. So he's very experienced.
Just the 4 goals in both sides scored this season. Simon Faulkner with 3, Johnny Fleck with 1 for East Grinstead. Jamie Golden, who we've already mentioned, is out today. He's got 2. Oliver Ashdown with 1 and Balrash Panasar with 1. So goals not expected to rain down on us today.
Well, sooner or later, hopefully something will break. I mean, Sam Apula and Henry Croft for Beeston, quite capable forwards, and if the game falls right for them, quite capable of hitting it in the back of the net. So they could get off the mark, I think, today. So just have to see how that progresses.
Looking at East Grinstead's transfer activity over the summer, coming in, Johnny Fleck, Luke Mobley, Max Simmons, Mike Wood from Brooklands, Tom Bean from Canterbury, Tom Crowson. And out, Balrash Panasar, who is appearing today, of course.
That's right, yeah.
Jared Jones, Josh Barrett, Lewis Gittins, Luke Emmett, Luke Holland and Rob Cope, all gone over the course of the summer.
Yeah, big change around. I think East Grinstead, their past form and performance levels, they're very, very keen, a bit like Beeston really, to try to get back to those top levels of the league, and working very hard on creating a stable side. And they've tried to strengthen this last summer.
For those of you who've been familiar or get the media guide, and hello Colin Pike, if you're watching on the catch-up or wherever you are today, thanks for sending them through. The numbers that East Grinstead have got are somewhat different from the information that we're able to get. So we've had a bit of a scramble. Certainly I've had a bit of a scramble. I think East Grinstead may have got a new kit today, because that looks very fresh out there on the field of play. And it is the visitors to get the ball rolling in the first quarter. Beeston versus East Grinstead live on BTV. It is Saturday the 22nd of October 2022, and we're talking this one through. Good conditions. We were hearing about the wind, and you were actually out on the field a little bit earlier on. It's a good day on the field.
Yes, it was. Yeah, Beeston 3s against Market Harbour, 11-1 win in the cup. So that was tier 3 of the cup. Great for some of the young lads coming through from the Colts set up here. So that was really good.
Early goal as well, I think, settled any nerves.
Yes, it did, yes, after about a minute. Be nice to see that for Beeston today, but these Premier League games are a lot different than that.
And also, we're in the almost unique position of being able to bring what could potentially be 2 Premier Division games at the same time, depending on when the camera pans over towards pitch number 4, because the women of University of Nottingham and Buckingham were in action earlier on. There were 4 goals in that in the first 10 minutes. I'm not sure how that one's played out, but we'll try and keep you as up to date as possible with that one. Match in front of us though, it's Beeston in possession now. Good pressure early on from East Grinstead.
Yeah, Beeston moving it around really nicely here. This is except kiss of death there. The ball turned over in the middle of the park. Dangerous for East Grinstead there. Just
good stepping in as well, although illegally. So East Grinstead have a set piece on the outside of the area. Not wasting any time, looking for a route into goal. I think
that's still East Grinstead ball on the edge of the D.
Still not sure about my numbers, I'm sure I just saw a number 8 out there, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, this is a good position for any team, really. You know, you've got, it's what they call the high transfer part of the pitch. They're in their opponent's half, so East Grinstead and Beeston's half, moving the ball around nicely, trying to get the a circle entry, but Beeston defended that quite well. Interesting, going back to the point where East Grinstead gained possession off Beeston there. There's been some nice transfer work around the back, 4 players for Beeston, but the minute they passed it into the midfield, Basics deserted the Beeston player and it was turned over very quickly.
Free hit taken from there. Griffiths looks up and plays it out to the right-hand side where it's picked up by Joe Paul. He's under a lot of pressure from Richard Lane. Pushes the ball out from play. Good pressure again from the visitors and causing a stick to be lost. He'll be back with Paul again for the restart, just making sure the equipment's there. We're seeing an influx of spectators on the far side. That suggests that the women's match between University of Nottingham and Buckingham is over. So that's good to see people sticking around, because it's been quite a good amount of pressure to make people come and watch the games today.
Yes, that's right.
Many fronts.
Here we go, another moment for East Grinstead. They're winning the ball off the Beeston defence, and Beeston having to scramble around to get that ball back again, which they've done quite well.
Dupre, I think that was the player who stepped in and picked the ball out of harm's way. And I think there he is again on the far side of the field as we're looking at a shock of bottled blonde hair, I think he's got at the moment.
It was one of Beeston's strengths last weekend, even though they were beaten handsomely by Old Georgians. They did defend well at times, and some of their retreat defence and ability to get back in shape was pretty good, so that should stand them in good stead today.
It sounds ridiculous with a 5-0 home defeat, but if you take out the goals that were more or less gifts and one quite disputed goal, it was a very solid defensive performance.
It was.
Excuse me. Just trotting away from harm's way. Here's Alistair Clift.
Alistair Clift, famous hockey father, and Robert Clift, gold medal winner from 1988.
Does make me a little bit more frightened than 34 years ago.
Yes.
1988. About this time of year, wasn't it, as well?
It was, yeah.
There's a nice quick ball releasing the space in the middle of the field. Now, what's the option here? Slight, beautiful ball that's played across the face, and that was touched behind from the player we just mentioned. Clift doing his defensive duties. Long corner for Beeston.
Yeah, I think Ollie Ashdown might have wanted a little bit more from that. Maybe a ball onto a foot for a penalty corner. Trying to get the first penalty corner of the game would be quite useful.
Early goals settle nerves, and if there's any nerves in this Beeston side, we've not seen them yet, although that was overstruck towards the forward player on the far side, and the ball's gone over the baseline.
Important to try and keep the ball in the in your opposition half to create as much pressure for the defence as possible.
Looking for Ollie Ashdown. He scored Beeston's first goal of the season, and that was way back on the 25th of September. Seems a long time ago since Beeston went ahead against Oxford, first game of the season.
So I think that was a game they'd hoped they would do a little bit better out of, really, but it's been a tricky start for them, really, and obviously getting goals is one of the areas where they need to try and improve a little, make more out of their attacking moves than they have been doing.
Nice pace on that ball, gives the defender time to look up and decide that backwards is the right way.
Very close to having that taken off him with the pass.
Finn Boothroyd, I think that was the player closest to it. A little bit of pinball, and Beeston come away with it.
Yeah, a good bit of urgency there. James Hunt signalling people on and trying to make these connections to get that ball forward, and trapped into playing backwards again by East Grinstead.
Toby Stanley going to ground there under pressure, and, quite theatrically. No award given. There's the ball out to Apula on the right hand side. Now where's support in the middle of the field? It's bounced a couple of times off a stick. It's still with Beeston. Another attempt to get the ball into the circle. Second time on the reverse side, wide of the upright. Strong stuff on the right hand side. Good interplay.
Yes, Henry Croft on the edge of the D there. I think, you know, one or two things really. He's either got to get his shot on target or maybe find a foot for a penalty corner. Just get a little bit more out of the high pitch possession. just to give the team more to work with.
Beeston winning possession back briefly, but it's back with East Grinstead once more as they look to enter the circle on their right-hand side. Good work again in the Beeston defence.
Lou Dupre, I think he had a good game last week as well against Old Georgians. And he's
still battling away here.
Yes.
Looks like there was going to be a shape to bring that one into the air from Mike Wood. Opted against it, waiting for reinforcements to come up from the team in white and blue.
Good ball speed from East Grinstead, moving that ball around quickly.
Faulkner, the captain, metronomic, trying to keep the movement of the ball across the field towards the base. And now umpire greatly placed.
Still with East Grinstead, dangerous part of the D. And that's
little clip ball in, and Beeston mopping it up, still not out of harm's way to the 23-metre line. This time though, they will clear with a little bit more authority, I think.
a lot of hard work from both teams, trying to make sure that they don't allow their opponents to get a lot of ball possession.
That was an intelligent pass which tricked East Grinstead into going for it, and, and then it also carried on the trick and beat the Beeston player. Was that Henry Croft who was aiming for, I think?
I think it was, yeah.
Just decided, no, I'm not going to go for that.
And it's ideal to get the ball for Henry in those situations. He likes space and something to run at. Very explosive counter-attack sort of player. So they could do with getting the ball to Henry in a bit of space.
East Grinstead slowing things down a little. I'm sure the pace will come when they see the opportunity to move forward. At the moment, it's so close to being stolen.
Very nearly taken again. That's Henry Croft pressing the East Grinstead's midfield player well. He's still on the ball.
Smooth work on the surface from both sides at the moment. We've only seen the ball lifted once in the entire game so far. 9 minutes almost completed on BTV. Ball rolling into the circle. Defence called into service.
Trying to be careful.
Long corner. Carried over the baseline. Risky play.
Yeah, it's needs to be taken away from the D, from the danger area as quick as possible.
Cliff thought about whipping that ball to the left-hand side. It's now back with Faulkner, the captain.
And a lot to play through him. We'll see that all day today. Dictating things, leading the line, as it were, leading as captain.
Ball picking up off the stick, and Griffiths thought he was away there. Then a late whistle came.
That was a late whistle. It was. I thought for a minute they got away with it.
And Griffiths seemed to be the only player who was alert to that potential opportunity on the field.
Well, we saw last week, didn't we, Andy, how important it is to keep playing to the whistle. James Tyndall scoring for Old Georgians because he carried on. Ball with East Grinstead. This is dangerous here. That's
short opportunity, and that's the opener, and that's been turned in by Charlie Taylor for the opening goal of the game. Simple opportunity, and just for the viewers at home, your face is a picture of fury.
Yes, I think that, you can see what he's trying to do. No defender's closing him down. He's got a lot of time. He can even take quite a big backswing at that. And that ball should have been taken away. Look, he's got space. Nobody's getting stuck in, and he's just found that very easy to beat Simon Hudgman.
Nice control finish as well, using the goalkeeper, waiting for that movement to come in to make sure the goalkeeper's off balance, and then placing the ball firmly into the opposite side. To the goalkeeper's movement. I think that sentence would complete itself as.
A little bit the way that Beeston did not want to start this game, giving something away as easy as that. 10 minutes in. East Grinstead are very much on the front foot. They've had a little bit more possession in the Beeston defensive third. And still have it now, so trying times for Beeston, really. That's
so close to being controlled. Keith Turner is number 19 today.
That's very easily given away there from Will Prentice's infield pass straight to an East Grinstead player, and all of a sudden the pressure's back on. Take a lot more care with the way that you make your passes, particularly when you're in a counter-attack situation. It needs to be lots of connections, get you forward. And East Grinstead back where they were a moment ago with quite a lot of play heading towards Beeston's defensive third.
You can hear one of the ball patrol bouncing the ball just out of the way there, so hopefully we'll have a quiet word.
Tricky place to get the ball away from defence, but quite nicely done though. Good pass, good receive, another good connection.
Big call of play from the umpires. Beeston have
There's
got
a
a
lot of
player
space
over.
here.
There's a turn into the circle. Opportunity for a ball in. That's been padded away. Where's the follow-up?
It's a penalty corner. I think that's hit a foot. I think that hit the foot off the keeper's kicked save. Well, East Grinstead seems to be debating that a bit.
Panasar was the player who was mopping up right at the end. There's a little bit of something there. There's the ball in. Going over to inject is James Hunt. Slightly unusual lineup there. Just sitting back is Will Prentice just on the follow-up. Two options just left and right of the centre of the D.
Jamie Rawlings is the favourite.
Low, hard bouncing. What's the umpire's decision? Long corner. Had a good look at that.
Yeah, no, number one runner's got out to that quite well, and he's gone off the back for a long corner.
Stanley with a restart to find Panasar. Good chatter from the players on both sides. Good communication as well. Communication is key. Bit of a tickle. And East Grinstead come away with the ball. I think Stanley may have created a bit of nuisance there, which gives us a way of free hits. East Grinstead make a couple of substitutions. Lewis Prosser, you can see, just going back to having a sit down.
I think possessionally East Grinstead have had a lot more of the ball than Beeston, so that's something from a coaching point of view they'll need to try and turn round.
Pushed into the corner.
Yes, long corner from a wide position. Still East Grinstead's ball.
Faulkner again, dictating things in the middle of the park.
Steady work from East Grinstead, just keeping possession.
And another turnover possession right on halfway. Overrunning the ball. But looks like it's a free hit being called from a dangerous position. Don't forget, if you're new to Premier Division hockey, it's still 17.5-minute quarters as the ball goes into the circle. East Grinstead will get a restart on that again.
A lot of pressure building from East Grinstead.
Back once again to Faulkner, who looks like he's going to go left, and that's what he does. If you had a touch count, Faulkner will probably be leading the stats.
As we say, I mean, so much goes through him. He's very dominant, requires the ball a lot and distributes very well.
And if you look at him now, he's in space, ready to receive the ball whenever possible. Good skill to have, finding the space as the ball flips in towards the edge of the circle, given away. Beeston needs to be careful not to give anything away here. There's a wave of the stick from Balraj Panasar.
Yeah, risky that. There could have been a corner for East Grinstead, but satisfactorily defended. Restart again for East Grinstead, so same pattern.
Long corner, the swing of the arm indicates. Just a reminder, today's umpires are Rob Brownbridge and Dan Reid. Umpire Brownbridge is the one closest to us.
Beeston finding it a bit tricky at the moment to get any kind of continuous possession of the ball.
Ball flipping up.
for yet another restart on the right-hand side for East Grinstead. I'm sure they're looking to upgrade this to a corner.
And Clift stick is out to the right, looking where the movement wants to be at the moment. Pressure from East Grinstead concentrated on the right-hand corner of the field, and can Beeston get out of the way here? I'm not sure they can, so it's got another free hit.
Speedy restarts from East Grinstead, but Beeston have got the ball now, so this is important that they take this pressure away.
What will happen first? Will the ball cross the 23-metre line, or will we have the quarter time? Well, Beeston have the ball. Oh, very close. It did cross the line just before 17 and a half minutes had elapsed.
And they took it back into the area that's causing the most amount of trouble. So there it is with East Grinstead again. So I think some coaching points for the break, really, about how to get the ball away from this part of the pitch.
Play still carrying on. I don't recall many stoppages.
No. I think it's got long left.
Speed has really improved in Beeston's midfield. They're moving the ball around quicker, but at what expense? Is it that is now?
That is the break.
Beautiful little puts of the ball, and Charlie Taylor's goal on the screen now, the 11th minute goal. The difference between the two sides, really composed finish. Really, there's a lot more to that goal than possibly met the eye.
I think there was. Making sure that you hold the ball in the D, a real strength from East Grinstead there. They've very gradually turned the possession in their favour, so we're looking almost now at, I would say, 60-40 probably in favour of East Grinstead, which has given them the opportunity to create a lot of circle entries. And Beeston finding it difficult to get out of their own 23-metre area, so something they've got to look at and make sure they get that ball into the opposite end and keep it up there for longer periods.
Will Prentice today, returning back to the matchday squad after that finger injury that kept him out. Last week against Old Georgians, he's played 5 now out of the 4 out of the 5 games that Beeston have had so far this season. At half-time, we'll set ourselves a challenge of finding out what went on in the Sultan of Johor Cup earlier on.
Yes.
We'll wait for half-time to do that. And also have a look around and see if there's been any other results that we can possibly bring you this afternoon. There's 10 fixtures at least today. I think there may be even more than that. I think there's 12. Clifton Robinson's East Grinstead, University of Nottingham, Buckingham. Early starts for them. Holcombe, Beeston in the women's competition, 1:30 start. Then the match is starting at 2, and the women's Premier, Hampstead and Westminster, Loughborough, Wimbledon, Surbiton. In the men's competition, Beeston, East Grinstead. Oxted Old Georgians in the men's starts at 2:30. Holcombe, University of Nottingham in the men's at 4 o'clock. Hampstead and Westminster, Brooklands in the men's at 4 o'clock as well. 3 more fixtures to bring you. Reading, University of Birmingham in the women's competition at 4:30. University of Exeter, Surbiton at 5:30 in the men's, and Reading, Wimbledon at 6:30 in the men's. So there's plenty of action today.
There is.
If you're watching this thinking, oh, I could do with some more live hockey, and if you're nearby any of those teams that are at home today, do drop down and say hello. There's still time for you to come down if you're watching online in the Nottinghamshire area as well.
It's such a nice day. Lovely to be out there as a spectator.
I think the sun may have found you a tiny bit earlier on, but we'll gloss over that for now. Bowie, now the ball into the circle, turn, shooting opportunity possibly here. That's been brilliantly saved.
Well, shot on target from Henry Croft, turning and hitting it on the reverse stick. Keeper very alert to that. Nice foot save. It's taken away that immediate danger. Still in the D, still with Beeston.
Again, the goalkeeper involved, Richard Curtis, with 2 actions in 30 seconds, keeping his clean sheet intact.
He's done very well there because the pressure's now off. East Grinstead have satisfactorily defended that. 2 good shots for Beeston on target, but the keeper was in a great position for both of them, and consequently has made 2 very satisfactory saves there.
Just getting a little bit of attention. The clock is stopped whilst and it's now back live again. Really, really impressive stuff. Richard Curtis has come here many seasons from memory and looked impressive.
Beeston not particularly pressing too high against the back four and winning the ball in the midfield, which is probably their intent to do that. So this is a good little breakaway.
Direct play. This is good. Bit of ping.
Still some good skills there. That should be a Beeston restart, and it is.
A bit of pinball, and East Grinstead have possession once more, shielding the ball from harm's way from Johnny Fleck.
Definitely an increase in the intensity from Beeston. They're closing down and tackling, trying to just put a bit more pressure on East Grinstead as they receive the ball. Pressure there, just forcing the ball off the side of the pitch. Still with East Grinstead.
Just thinking again to that initial save, the shot was with the boot, and not only was the ball pushed away to safety, it managed to take the pace off the ball.
It did.
So it managed to stay on the field of play. There was a lot going on there. Really good stuff.
Again, pressure from Brendan Andrews there, but he's not made a clean tackle. He's kicked the ball, so that's back with East Grinstead again. Bit of a feature. Opportunity there with a bit more effort to win that possession back. Yeah, nicely received by East Grinstead.
I probably have a doubt about 5 metres there, but
yeah,
play allowed to continue.
It looked very tight, that. Yeah, both sides busy, and
there's a quick ball which has been mopped
taken
up on the edge of the circle. Beeston standing up to that one. The movement as well from East Grinstead was quite impressive if it had found a way through. Being picked up by Toby Stanley, who just gets tangled up.
Yeah, trying to make sure that he didn't give the ball away, and Beeston resorting to the aerial. It's fallen quite nicely for East Grinstead's defence. Simon Faulkner found that easy to tidy up.
Option for the give and go, but that was telegraphed a little bit. If I was anticipating it, then surely the full-time players out there definitely would.
Nicely across to the other side of the pitch.
Look at the number of white shirts in the picture compared to one of those in the black and yellow.
Working very hard. East Grinstead are doing themselves proud here with their work ethic. Not dwelling on the ball too long, moving Beeston around quite a lot at the speed of their passing. Out onto the right-hand side.
Quick note as well, Tim Deacon, head coach, David Beckett, the assistant coach for East Grinstead. Opposite numbers, Graham Griffiths is managing for Beeston, James Blaine, assistant coach, and that ball flashes through. Also Gareth Aiken today, assistant coach. No Stephen Wood, as you mentioned.
Yes, yeah.
What would that make as a difference to the setup today?
Well, I mean, you expect your coaching team to be all as good as each other, have the same knowledge, working to the same plan. Gareth Aiken's very switched on with the video analysis and setup with the team, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem.
There's a turn that releases some space. Faulkner again, a little bit more advanced than we've seen him previously. Yeah, as I say that, he just retreats back over halfway and receives the ball again.
Creeping their way back up the pitch again. East Grinstead looking for those connections in the D.
Cliff looking for the diagonal ball. Beeston in possession, just getting the timing a little bit wrong, but second prize is a free hit.
Yeah. So this is where Beeston need to settle a bit more in the middle of the pitch and see if they can make connections with forwards that stay in the danger area for East Grinstead for longer. They've been in and out very quickly, and it doesn't really help you to create too many opportunities.
Dupre, who had spotted off camera, had gone quite advanced down the field. He's done well to get towards the baseline here with a first-time ball. Good defence work, getting the head of the stick. And Beeston are claiming something.
Yeah, very much, very strong protest there that the ball hit a foot, so and they've found some space in the D. Nothing's come of that, so slightly overrun the ball there and giving the possession back to East Grinstead. It's a bit messy as Beeston find their way into the dangerous parts of the pitch from them, the attacking area. They sort of get a little bit too messy and not really creating enough opportunities for their forwards.
Sharp work on the floor from Clift, releasing now. Finn Boothroyd has gone a long way with it.
Yeah, missed tackle from James Hunt there, just allowing a lot further progression than the East Grinstead player should have had.
Space for the diagonal ball into the circle, which was topped. He did play it, and Beeston come away with possession, and the pressure again immediately from East Grinstead season turnover, and Lewis Prosser gets a touch on the ball but releases Beeston through the middle. Here's an opportunity, look at that, and Henry Croft wants it and gets it. Croft goes to the left, goes to the right, leaves a little space for support to come. I'm sure that was intentional. There's the delivery, that's good in towards the circle. That's a good pick up of the loose ball.
Very neatly done by East Grinstead. Good eye on the ball, making sure it didn't hit the foot for a penalty corner, and now they're in possession. And
has that been knocked out of play? I think it has. Beeston in possession. James Hunt strokes the ball backwards, takes a touch, and there's firm ball out to the left-hand side, now towards the baseline. Beeston sniffing around the edge of the circle. Is there an opportunity here for a ball in? Appeal again. I think Croft wanted or saw something there, and he's gone back to have a chat with the umpire, I think, in making his feelings known.
Yeah, good movement in the D from Henry Croft. I think it didn't look to me like he controlled the ball satisfactorily, but he seems to feel it was a foot, but not given. So obviously wasn't.
No, this game has started to get end to end. We had a couple of spells of dominance from both sides. More so East Grinstead as another tangle of sticks comes to play.
I think in some ways there's a bit of feistiness coming out in Beeston now, and they probably need a bit of that just to get themselves fired up, and there are a few more attacks coming from them now.
Under strength, the diagonal aerial ball, which Beeston crop up and pick up the ball and move down the right-hand side.
50-50 ball chase there. Simon Faulkner wins it. It's gone off the side, but Sam Apula probably could have done a bit better, just pushing him and making sure that he knew he was there, but nevertheless, Beeston restart from the sideline.
Griffiths under two challenges at once. The ball pops away, and East Grinstead come through that second challenge from Griffiths. I think he's a little bit disappointed.
Didn't really have anybody to pass to there, and so he had to use his own skills, and 2 or 3 East Grinstead players around. It's hard to do.
Long blow of the whistle, and a card has just come out of the pocket of Rob Bryanbridge. And I think
Ben Collinson, is it? It's not helpful at this stage of the game. Just to lose a player, go down to 10 men, alters the way that you feel that you can attack.
It is Ben Collinson who's had to sit down.
Yeah, good progress down the left-hand side here, still keeping the ball, but not winning a free hit and turning the possession over to East Grinstead now. Beeston having to defend man down.
Goal down 2.
Yeah, just the point where they were starting to create a few better attacks, and I didn't see what Ben Collinson's card was for, but stick tackle I think it was, and doesn't really help to lose a player at that point.
East Grinstead, moving the ball around at speed so quickly it made the camera go out of focus for a second or two.
Did, yes.
Crossfield ball finds Turner. In turn, gets the ball to the baseline.
That's not. Oh, that's gone right across the goal mouth.
Hojwan ready for that. Yeah. Nice quick feet. And Beeston want to get the move on. The ball's gone over the sideline.
Just shows the benefit sometimes of just throwing that ball into the D. An awkward height, difficult for defenders, and it went across the goal face. And
ball down for Sam Apula, who flicks it on, and you could hear the frustration.
Yeah. little bits that make a difference, you know, but you gather the ball from an aerial there and you're in quite a strong place. Alternatively, you don't, and the ball's back in with East Grinstead with a pattern that they're getting familiar with, transferring it around higher and higher up the pitch and making their way down the flanks very nicely. Forcing Beeston to retreat, have to defend, spend less time with the ball. Good form of game management from East Grinstead going on, making sure that the possession stats are very high.
Flick forward. Beeston, when they get the free hit opportunities, they're taking them slowly, which is entirely their choice. But I think a little bit more speed wouldn't go amiss. But at the same time, you don't want to go too quick. There's a sweet spot to try and aim for.
I think that's right, and we are seeing slightly different styles with East Grinstead's steady build-up play like this that we're watching at the moment. Beeston a little bit more counter-attack, expecting to try to burst forwards off repossession of the ball, and it's not really worked from Beeston's point of view. Just the one corner so far, and that's another area that I think Beeston need to improve. The number of times that they create corners, there weren't many last week, I seem to remember, Andy.
No, it was a quiet day at the office.
Quite a lot of the 50-50 scrambly bits are going to East Grinstead, so they again actually working their stats, possession stats up.
Hujwan having to come out and connect with Charlie Taylor, but perfectly legitimately.
Yes, he's done a good job there. Now a bit of space for Sam Pooley. This is the different style, you see, counter-attack stuff coming from Beeston as opposed to the build-up play that we're seeing with East Grinstead.
East Grinstead not happy with that. They felt that there was an infringement from Apula, but it is Beeston we get possession. Look at that over the far side of the field, just hoving into view. Panasol really wanted the ball. What can he do with it now? It's a first-time ball. Just wait. Oh, he did.
Yeah, I was going to say that's it. Brendan Andrews done well to win that. You've got to get to the ball first. Just when it fell loose for a little moment there, Beeston first to it, which is good. Gives them the possession back.
A lot of space now with Beeston in possession. Out of your picture, there are two players lingering around the penalty spot as well, so they're waiting for that ball to get into the circle. Yeah, but there's one pass I think that's just missing.
That's exactly right. I mean, the ball down the left flank there was a difficult one for Ollie Ashdown to trap, so the prospect of him being able to get that and feed the D was going to be too much for him.
Another player going to ground on the far side of the field. It's looking like, barring a Beeston equaliser, East Grinstead are going into half-time on 35 minutes with a goal advantage. They're hoping for more as they look.
Yes, I think you know, one goal's never enough in a Premier League game nowadays, so East Grinstead in a dangerous place here. This is
turned backwards, goalkeeper down on his knees, the ball's bouncing around and the umpire blows. Advantage I think picked up and just taken out of the way. Good pace, good shielding of the ball as well from Brendan Andrews. It's been carried a long way.
Just that little moment there, he's done all that work to get beyond the player. He's still got to keep fighting away. Instead he sort of switched off a bit. It has gone back to Beeston, so the umpire obviously saw an offence, but you have to fight quite a bit harder in these games to make sure you maintain that possession, particularly when you're getting near the opposition D.
Stanley leaving it to Panasol. Panasol rolling the ball back. Paul with a cross-field ball takes a first touch from James Hunt, who continues his run. It's avoided him so far. There's space now for the diagonal ball into the circle. It is coming, shooting opportunity. It's been mopped up. It's back in the circle again, but Beeston are fringed, and it's an East Grinstead ball.
Yeah, I think it was looking really good. A drive into the D there, expecting to see a shot, but I think it turned itself into a bit of a miss hit and a stick tackle. So again, a moment wasted. Good opportunity there to create something better than just the run with the ball.
Conditions update in the 33rd minute. Beeston 0, East Grinstead 0. It's just dropped a few degrees in here.
Actually, yeah,
cloud has come over, so we were fairly sunny. It's inviting a little bit more effort from both the teams. Just keep it a little bit warmer as the ball goes over the baseline. Looks like East Grinstead will restart.
Yeah, but ball just falling loose in the middle of the pitch there. East Grinstead got to it first, and now here we are again. The familiar build-up that we've been seeing.
That one flying into the advertising banners behind the goal.
Nevertheless, it was a deflection from East Grinstead leading forward, so it could quite easily have gone anywhere. So
as we approach half-time, what would your advice be to Beeston?
Well, I think at the moment, on a few occasions they are beginning to get forwards. They've got to make sure that the ball stays there for longer. They've been defending reasonably well, hence the scoreline staying at 1-0. But it's just creating stuff at the other end, and the times they've been in the D, I think they need to be looking for corners. East Grinstead stepping up really high press on the Beeston defence.
One more throw of the dice with 60 seconds left. Is there either of the two teams going to make an opportunity at the moment?
Oh, a bit careless there. That was a chance for Beeston to get away, but they're going to spend the rest of this half, I think, defending.
Aerial ball's on, and that's been ignored. It has gone over to the far side of the field, which I thought it might have done. There's the ball into the circle.
Dangerous at this part of the game.
Did that come off a leg? No, umpire was right on it, and Beeston get the benefit of the whistle. Not wasting any time. Can they get down the other end of the field? They've got 25 seconds or so. There's a miscontrolled delivery. It's still with Beeston. You can see the pointing from Bowie, who wants it eventually. It should find him now. He's been ignored. It will come across to Bowie eventually, across his halfway. He's got 10 seconds to find a way towards goal. It flicks off Johnny Fleck. It's going to be a Beeston sideline ball. Time running out.
Well, you would think you would know where you need to be in this phase of the game. There might have been a chance to create a further attack out of that, but Beeston took a long time to actually get that ball under control, really, and so that last opportunity's gone away. Still only 1-0. So in the context of the game of hockey nowadays, that's plenty in this yet.
Charlie Saylor making it 1-0 in the 11th minute, I make that. And it's been a good game. It has been a good game. It's not been the most enjoyable if you're wearing black and gold.
No, I think you can't fault the work rate. I think both teams working very hard. East Grinstead have been better with the possession than Beeston have been, but there have still been those opportunities for Beeston, and they've only got to get one of them right, and all of a sudden the game will come alive. So it would be, I think for the neutral, it'd be nice to see it at 1-1 quite quickly after half-time.
Well, we're at half-time. We've got a few people to thank. Our headline sponsor is the Magical Mushroom Company. The Magical Mushroom Company harnesses the natural flexibility and strength of mycelium, the material structure of fungi, to grow protective packaging at any scale by combining it with agricultural waste such as hemp, cork and sawdust. This offers a safe, sustainable and totally home compostable alternative to plastic foams, ideal for packaging, horticulture and interior design solutions. You could say they're solving the plastic problem with the magic of mushrooms. Since 2020, the Magical Mushroom Company has produced over 500,000 pieces of mushroom packaging, and by 2023 they'll effectively have removed more than 1,000 tonnes of EPS packaging from landfill. Find out more about the Magical Mushroom Company at magicalmushroom.com.
Our main live streaming partner is Air IT. With over 15 years of industry experience, they're a mature, well-established and trusted strategic technology partner to a wide range of organisations and in-house teams. With comprehensive expertise across IT, communications, cybersecurity and business intelligence, Air IT will cover all your technology needs, whether you choose to fully outsource or complement in-house resources. We provide a complete managed solution from initial advice to supply, implementation and ongoing support. Find out more at airit.co.uk.
And we're also proud to partner with Club Buzz. Club Buzz lets sports clubs add an incredible website and manage their entire club, including their team selection and payments with a Club Buzz app, which is rated 5 stars in the Apple App Store. Get started for free with Club Buzz at clubbuzz.co.uk. Thanks to our sponsors for making it happen. Half time on BTV. It's live. It's Beeston 0. It's East Grinstead 1. Welcome back to BTV, and the Bees are out nice and early, ready for the second half of Premier Division hockey. They're a goal down against East Grinstead. A quick reminder of the position at the start of the day. Beeston were in 11th place in the division, East Grinstead in 10th, but on the same number of points. So East Grinstead have got 35 minutes to hold on and double their points tally for the season. Beeston, though, have got 35 minutes to get back into it. Can you see a way back in?
Definitely. I think when the game of hockey is that way anyway, it's geared towards lots of goals, as we've said many times. Beeston only want one opportunity or maybe a few more penalty corners, and all things could change. And since the goal that East Grinstead scored, there's not been too much of a threat from them, so I think I'd take a positive from that. So it is very much down to Beeston now to get their circle entry stats higher, I would say. Make sure that they are getting the best out of their attacking moves.
Looking at the statistics, again, we say thank you to Colin Pike for sending them through. There's never been a game here at Beeston against East Grinstead where the Bees haven't scored. They've got 35 minutes to keep that run going. Oh, this is going all the way back to 1998, by the way.
That's quite a scary stat, bearing in mind it's 1-0 down at the moment, so Beeston have got to take stock of the situation.
Also, we were hoping to have a look at the Sultan of Johor Cup result from earlier today, but we've not been able to gather that in the shortened half-time break.
That's right, both teams stopping outside and obviously eager to get on with the game again, I think. So Beeston looking very enthusiastic at the start. I would expect that to be the case, and this is where they need to now start to exert a bit of influence. Here we go, good position. Going to the D.
And the whistle blows in favour of the visiting team. Just for housekeeping purposes, it's Beeston playing right to left as your camera looks at it on your screen wherever you're watching us in the world. Beeston in the blue and yellow with the black and yellow shorts. East Grinstead in their traditional white with blue flashes, blue shorts and white socks, playing from left to right. Attacking the boulevard end. I've just seen one of the trams go by at the end on the boulevard. And
bit of space here for...
Oh, a little swing of the stick. Important from Joe Paul, blocking the ball from progressing further into the circle.
Yeah,
it's still live on the baseline, though. Swept towards goal and turned in, but no, it's no goal. Umpire on the spot and pointing to his foot. Couldn't have been clearer, and that was the reason why the goal was disallowed.
Sigh of relief for Beeston there, I think, because the East Grinstead in very dangerous positions inside the D. So, and there again, that ball just turned over when it needn't have been. The pressure right back on the Beeston defence, having to get back into shape. And that's what we were talking about, really, Andy. The times when you get away with the ball, making sure it stays away for a while is quite important. Beeston not doing that well enough at the minute.
Bees coming out of defence over the 23-metre line. All very steady, and it allows East Grinstead to creep closer and closer back to the boulevard end goal.
Yeah, very
create
deep
the pressure.
Very deep line from Beeston there, and
long blow of the whistle.
Not very good, not positive body language from Beeston. They're running away from the ball, making it look like for all the world like they committed the offence.
I think I heard one of the coaches a long time ago saying the ball isn't a grenade. You don't have to get away from it as quick as you can. There's a crossfield ball that's gone all the way through, and that's a nice take, and that's releasing Samapula. He's continued his run. East Grinstead mop up pretty well. Beeston battling, though.
Yeah, I think there was I thought Henry Croft had got in front of his defender there, and I would have expected him to collect that ball and keep the attack alive.
Still there, this is good. Better stuff along the baseline across the face of goal. No one's able to turn that one in, and East Grinstead come away. That's the closest that we've come to an equaliser.
It's not really sealing the D, and in other words, putting sufficient people around the D edge to keep the ball in there if the slip pass was missed. And it's just found its way to win the ball back.
There's the ball popping up in the circle again, and East Grinstead coming away with it. I feel like I might record saying that a few times, save having to say it.
Yeah, that ball fed into the top of the D there, and you really do need to make sure that you collect it, keep it tight to the stick. Just ran away there from Beeston forward. Ball's gone back to East Grinstead and the attack has died out, fizzled away. Nice quick slick passing in and out of those tight areas by East Grinstead, making sure that they keep the ball. And there it goes again, familiar pattern back to Simon Faulkner.
You can see the Beeston's pressure really starts to come on at halfway between halfway and the 23-metre line, which probably isn't enough. It allows a firm base to be put in place by East Grinstead, and you can see this is the starting point. Again, this is where they're starting to begin their probes of the first lines of the Beeston defence, and it's too easy, I think.
It is. Beeston not feeling confident enough to put a very high press on, seeking to sort of settle back into a three-quarter position. And of course that gives a bit more time to the back four from East Grinstead to move it around and look for openings. Here we go again, sort of retaining the ball very well.
Just looking at that, there's only one Beeston player in the half at the moment, and that is the furthest forward player is Henry Croft, and now he's been joined by Sam Apula. Beeston could fling the ball forward, but they've been pressed back skillfully.
I think that's, you know, that ball in the middle of the pitch there, I would have liked to have seen that move, travelled forward at that point, because they have found their way out on the right-hand side. So,
well, I think I'd be happy from an East Grinstead point of view to give your opponent space on the right-hand side. You don't want to be giving space in the middle, as what we've seen now. Can Beeston build on this? There's a real severe difficulty, and that's been saved, and it's been close to the line. That has been turned in for the equaliser.
Gareth Griffiths pouncing on loose stuff in there, and this is what we were saying. We were sort of discussing at half-time, Andy, the idea that the best way for this game to go would be for Beeston to get back into it early in the second half, and that's what's happened.
Tenacious tackling on the edge of the circle from East Grinstead. The ball fortunately coming to Apula. Richard Curtis involved again and turned in from the left side by Gareth Griffiths, the captain of Beeston, for 1-1. First goal of the season for him.
Nice cool finish with his on the reverse stick. I thought it seemed to take him ages to actually get the final reverse stick flick away, but thankfully he got that right. So we do have a game now, because I think you'll see more progression from Beeston.
Just magnetised the ball to an East Grinstead defensive stick.
Entirely my fault, commentating the ball towards East Grinstead.
Now, what we have seen recently is that when Beeston have scored, they've been liable to concede very soon afterwards. So they need to be switched on and make sure they don't give the ball away high up the field, as they did there. Here's the goal scorer moving the ball towards halfway, continuing his run, and almost give and go. Things are starting to work nicely. Ollie Ashdown lays the ball off. Quick ball into the circle. There's the control and flash wide of the upright. That's the sort of skills that we were looking for.
Yeah, very nice counter-attack that. The ball, each pass was a connection. It wasn't at the quickest of paces, but nevertheless it was into space and in the zone of a Beeston player, and it resulted in a shot. Unfortunately not on target, but I think Richard Curtis had probably covered the angle for the shot anyway. But better signs for Beeston, really.
I think it's important to say East Grinstead aren't rattled by this development in the game, are they?
No,
They've got a game plan and want to stick to it, and it's working for them as they progress towards the 23-metre line again.
So again, I think you do have to have that in your locker, you know, that calmness, trust the system that you've developed and the routine that you want to play, and don't let it be affected too much, particularly in the game of hockey, because as we say, plenty of goals can be scored. This is a dangerous place for East Grinstead, fighting their way towards the edge of the D. Quick restart, and this is some space. But nice
well stepped in indeed.
Ben Collinson there with making sure he got to the ball first.
Collinson with looks to go with the aerial ball towards the right-hand channel. Good battle for the aerial ball.
I think so. I mean, the East Grinstead defender missed that.
It was intelligent play as well, because instead of challenging for the ball on the first phase, as soon as the defender touches the ball, you can challenge for it.
Yes, that's right. And I did think for a minute there that the retreat defence after the East Grinstead player had missed it ought to have been an offence for Beeston. But nevertheless, they're still in this position.
There's a good takedown
the ball
towards the baseline. There's a gravity getting in the way. East Grinstead coming away now. They're starting to feel a little bit of pressure.
Yes.
So the obvious thing to do is get the ball down the other end of the field as quick as you can if you're in blue and white.
It is. But Beeston again, a chance there. I think that was Will Prentice into the edge of the D. Find a foot, get that corner, and give your team a chance to settle and have hopefully a free shot on target. But he didn't do that. It was neither one thing or another. It was either a pass, a shot, or an attempt to win a corner.
Beeston continuing their run, going all the way back to 1998, scoring every time East Grinstead have visited here in the league.
Of course, they've kept that alive. That's
looking for their first victory. There was a 2-1 win back in 2019. Robbie Gleeson and Chris Proctor on target for Beeston that day.
Yeah, Robbie Gleeson, who would have been playing today had he been not been up.
Big appeal, and that's an almost apologetic penalty corner award.
Yeah, Louis Dupre, the ball bouncing around, and he's not spotted its trajectory after it's come past the East Grinstead player's feet, and I think it's hit his feet. So Simon Faulkner's prowess at penalty corners, this is a bit of a worry for Beeston. Look, there, got to be careful. Dancy feet in the D, make sure that whatever happens, it's not going to hit you. Bit to do here for Beeston, because from everything I've seen from East Grinstead, their routines are good and are likely to result in something direct at the goal. So
Faulkner is the player with the captain's band and is number 15. I'm yet to find where is Faulkner in the middle of that. He's just, I think, just made his way to the left-hand side of the circle.
That's right, there
with his
is.
stick in the air now. 3 goals so far this season for Faulkner. Not sure how many of those are penalty corners, but as a defender, you'd suggest that there's some element of those. There's the delivery.
Got the number 1 runner to stop this happening here.
It's gone all the way out to the right-hand side, and it's been blocked well by Beeston. They weren't fooled out. All eyes were on Faulkner in the commentary box.
Yeah.
The Beeston defence were following the ball and handling it well,
as they're supposed to do. So, but the ball's still there. This is. That's nicely
chaotic. Well, yeah, I was going to say it's chaotic, but it has worked for Beeston to get things out of defence. Punched out towards halfway, skips a couple of times and releases the pressure.
Give himself a bit of time to just to regroup defensively, but East Grinstead will be back into their familiar pattern of build-up play. I think actually that short corner might have been stopped on the line by the defender.
Yes, so I don't think it was a save. I definitely recall a very firm stick sound.
Yes. Shows the benefit of staying inside the post and keeping your eye on the ball.
Good pace from East Grinstead as they run into a little bit of trouble, so the layoff is there. Angle ball towards the right-hand side of the circle. Too much on it, or the direction wasn't as good as it was intended.
Yeah.
And so Beeston can clear. The next break coming at 52.5 minutes time. 52.5 minutes on the clock. It is BTV. Stephen Musson is sitting alongside me, Andy Day. And we've got a game brewing.
Yeah, we have. There's definitely an up in the tempo from Beeston. Yeah, just little moments. That ball passed off the side of the pitch by Beeston, giving East Grinstead the initiative again.
Flung into the leg. So East Grinstead have a free hit. Just looking at the movement off picture, because the movement is good from East Grinstead. That's tapped behind for a long corner. Again, that was... didn't look very confident approach to that.
No, I agree with you. I think that's, you know, you would expect a defender there to be able to get hold of that ball and take the danger away, but instead it's a restart from a long corner for East Grinstead. All the Beeston players back in defensive shape.
A touch there for Dan Faulkner. We've mentioned Simon quite a few times, but first mention of the game, I think, for Dan, who's number 5 for East Grinstead.
There we go, Beeston being forced again to just sort of track sideways across the pitch to try to deal with the transfer work that East Grinstead are doing. Able to break down the attack but not regain possession.
Looking at the corner count, we've only had one per side so far in this game. I feel like gives an indication of where the ball's been.
Yeah, I don't think that's right. There's not been a huge amount of circle entry from either side. And that takes us back to that point we were making earlier with Will Prentice. He had a chance to win a corner.
I think, might we see a card here?
Slipping a bit. Oh dear, that's, well, mind you, that's, for such a poor pass, that's found its, its direction.
No card is the outcome, but the Beeston bench not happy at all.
I think I'd be less happy with that work in the middle of the park there by Beeston, because that's just been turned over for no reason whatsoever. Thankfully, it's been won back by the same player, so he's made up for his error. Dangerous.
Pace coming into the circle, across the face of goal, goalkeeper involved. 2 players down in front of the goal line, and East Grinstead will clear. This is really starting to get tasty.
Yeah, another example though, in the D for Beeston, shot but nothing came from it, no corner. Ball back to East Grinstead. I think they really need to work on upgrading this higher pitch possession and getting more out of it. Talk a lot about outcomes in the game, and particularly from forwards, it's very noticeable whether you can achieve them or not.
And you were saying earlier on, or we were noticing earlier on, about how Beeston weren't battling for the ball high up the field, and now I've noticed within these couple of sections of play here how quickly Beeston have got back to.
Well, this is dangerous moment. Oh, nicely defended.
Well watched and shielded of the ball as well.
Yes.
I was about to say how well Beeston have smothered the ball when East Grinstead have been in possession. That's something that this has only really just started to appear.
It has.
In the play.
That's right. I think it's you know, it's an improvement in the performance and the hunting that the players are doing. It's creating a few more chances, but I just want them to get a little bit more out of this attacking play. See, that's very tight there. Ben Collison had actually managed to turn and find a way out, but he's taken the ball back into the back 4. Still with Beeston. Again, lost possession.
Just to get the ball to halfway, it's like the equivalent of climbing Mount Everest.
It does seem that way. It's Beeston finding it very difficult to do that. Credit to East Grinstead, because they're closing off a lot of the passing lines, and they're certainly closing down the player on the ball quickly. There we go, Samapula doing. Oh no, it was Samapula doing the work on the forward line. There's a chance for Beeston to get the ball.
Vikram Sandhu takes a touch, checks back, done very well to make the space and get the pass away. Good work from Sandhu.
Space on the outside, free player on the outside, if anybody can see that. But it's been turned over again in the middle of the park. I mean, that is a cardinal sin in the context of this game.
Time running out in this third quarter. Can East Grinstead pump the ball into the circle? They've gone wide. This is the pump ball into the circle. Can they get a penalty corner here? That's what they're looking for. Nothing doing there.
It's been turned into a long corner, and there's the break. Well, a couple of points have come out of that for me, Andy. I think that the 2 or 3 times the ball's been given away by Beeston players in the middle of the field, which creates good attacking options for East Grinstead. And equally, from Beeston's point of view, they've been in the D many more times than they were in the first quarter, but they've not really created anything dangerous apart from obviously the goal. That's certainly 2 areas they need to improve.
So with a score 1-1 on BTV, Beeston 1, East Grinstead 1. Equalising goal coming in the third quarter from Gareth Griffiths. 17.5 minutes to go. Inviting your thoughts, suggestions, comments via social media. We'll have a look at a couple of them. Or look at them that come through and read out a couple of them if we're able to. So let us know what you're thinking via social media. Who will take home the 3 points? Will it be Beeston? Will it be East Grinstead? Or will the points be shared? And the third mystery point disappearing off into the ether, because what happens to drawn points? Beeston 1, East Grinstead 1 is the score live on BTV. Who's scoring the next goal, Muss?
Well, crikey, there's a question, because I would think that from the counter-attack play that Beeston have had, they've got the opportunity to to create more from their deep penetration. East Grinstead, having said that, they play a different style. Their build-up play is more methodical than Beeston, and it has put them in the D a couple of times with potential shots. So it really is evenly matched, I think, at the moment.
I have no idea why we've got people on the field of play, some juniors.
Yeah.
Bit of a bizarre one,
Yeah,
but that's happened off picture.
Off.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are rolling though. Play is back underway. And Beeston, most recent scorer, they know that the scoring is there, and they've got a couple of good forwards, and they're trying to find them. Here's progress down the right-hand side. There's the ball into the circle, batted away. Onto the baseline. No route towards the D directly, so it's going to have to be played through a couple of players. All very condensed. You could throw a blanket over 6 or 7 players there. Right on the baseline and the edge of the D. It is Beeston long corner.
I think if East Grinstead have found one thing quite difficult, it has been that when there is a speedy counter-attack from Beeston, there's been they've not found it straightforward all the time, but they've done that. They've defended that very well indeed. So
there's a card coming here. Now, what flavour card is that?
Beeston player Henry Croft has gone off, so not doing his team any kind of favours there in this last quarter.
So Ben Collinson earlier in the game. Henry Croft now been shown a green card as well, so it's a 2-minute temporary suspension.
I think it's so important that players know where they are in the game and what they're about. You know, the discipline side of it is so important. To make a poor tackle in those kind of situations and take your team down to 10 men when you're trying to win a game is very unhelpful.
Mike Wood, 21, a name I've not really mentioned very often. He's the player just with his back to us now and has been bypassed. East Grinstead though back in possession, crossing halfway.
You see, this is the problem now, because you haven't got enough, you're missing a forward, so you can't really get that ball
Gifted
to anybody. And
possession around the edge of the circle once more. Beeston really trying to form a bit of a wall. Player goes to ground, umpire watching on carefully. Beeston can clear and taking the high traffic and the high traffic tariff even route out of defence.
Yeah, they've had to scrap that one away really, and little moments that are problematical for Beeston when you haven't got that extra forward. It's easier for defenders to progress forward, and defenders from East Grinstead to progress forward, and it puts pressure on. So probably a minute into Henry Croft's card now, so Beeston having to deal with this as a 10.
I think Beeston will be fairly happy as a unit that where the position of the ball is, and even better with it now. They thought they got away with that cleanly.
For all the world like it should have been a Beeston hit. There it is, that wide East Grinstead player. Ball found on him on the baseline. Attempt to put the cross in has been defended and gone out for a long.
Just watching on for the potential return of Henry Croft. He's still sat down out of your picture right now as East Grinstead switch the ball back.
Must be any time, I would have thought.
Beeston making a couple of substitutions as well.
Need somebody to step up in a situation like this and do something a bit well and create an opportunity to. Oh. Still with East Grinstead. I think making life a bit difficult for themselves there. East Grinstead have played it out, so chance to set.
I wasn't sure of the colour of the card, and because Henry Croft is still seated, I did suspect it was a yellow, and I think that's now been definitely confirmed. So yes, that was.
Well, his crime is even worse then, because to be away for 5 minutes is just not acceptable really in this phase of the game.
Changed the shape on my notes from a triangle to a square.
East Grinstead have won that quickly and into a dangerous part of the D, and the cross has not been good enough there, so
just clearly hitting the outside of the board of the goal. it's changed the game a little bit.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I think you find this that there's some space here from Beeston's point of view, and that's really nice from Ollie Ashdown. Can he create anything out of this?
He's
It's not been helped. Oh, I was going
about
to say
7 tackles in a row, and there's card gone out there, and that's a yellow is the call. So it's 10 versus 10, and taking a seat is number 18, Alistair Clift, who's been shown the yellow card.
Now that's unfortunate there, because there was a chance. I think Gaz Griffiths there tried to win a corner, just got under the ball, lifted it too high. It did hit an East Grinstead foot, or probably a leg, so they got the ball back. So Beeston are going to find themselves 11 against 10 for probably 3 minutes or so. So
here's Mike Wood. One of the few times in the game that we've seen more Beeston players in frame than East Grinstead.
yeah, that's right. I think it'll be interesting to see how Beeston deal with this phase of play now, because this is definitely an opportunity. Although East Grinstead, I can't fault their passing, and they've still got a better possession statistic than Beeston have.
Whistle blows, and Toby Stanley, he makes things moving. And coming into the game, Ollie Ashdown. Beeston back to 11 players as Griffiths chases the ball back from the baseline. Support coming from Ashdown, and the ball battered into the defence of East Grinstead. That's
one way of doing it. That's anything that creates you that restart possession in your opponent's half.
Panasar getting a touch, is now over to the right-hand side for Beeston. Pressure coming from East Grinstead. The ball being switched back all the way from right to left, making not quite the most of that extra player possession.
No, that's right. And you ask the question here: do we want to keep that possession?
Panasar with the ball towards the edge of the circle, and
too easy for the East Grinstead defence to collect that. No pressure on the ball carrier at all.
Quick note as well, as East Grinstead move the ball up towards the baseline at the boulevard end, how sweetly the pitch is playing today.
Yes, it is. On pain of death to mention that the pitch is playing very well at the moment. Apparently I've mentioned that it's been a bit bouncy at times, and I was in serious trouble over that. It's settled the treat now.
Oh, well, quite genuinely, it has. The game has been played very, very nicely on the ground today.
Here we go. So Beeston again. What can they? I mean, that really is a straight line run onto an East Grinstead player's stick. Surely there's a better way of playing the game than just running a straight line like that.
10 minutes to play. Will we find a winner from either side? A defeat for one of the two teams that we're looking at right now won't necessarily be terminal, but it won't. It'll probably mean that they're out of the running for a top 6 place.
Oh yes, that's right. I think this is one of those games that you know you're going to be facing later in the season as well. So you want to sort of get yourself dominant. As you say, 10 minutes to create something for either side now. So
Beeston get the ball. There's a player, I think, being struck by that on the way through, and time is off.
Yeah, I think East Grinstead trying to feed that ball into the D, just got under the ball a bit too much, a bit like Beeston did a moment ago at the other end. Just those little bits of care that you need to take.
Just having the ball back. Once again, inviting your thoughts, comments, and clock is rolling once more. On social media, wherever you are watching the world, let us know where you're watching and who do you think is going to take the player of the match. Suggestion. More noise from the teams on the field of play. I think both teams know how high stakes this is starting to become now as the ball gets into the circle. There's the control. Onto the baseline from Croft. Croft has the ball taken off him though.
Goodness me, win a corner, Henry.
Couple of sweeps of the
there
ball
from Brendan Andrews. Needs to make sure he keeps that possession. There's an obvious pass there. There it is. Again, same thing. That is into space. Can you get to a
shot coming, and it's been fired.
Dear. Goodness me, just execute your skills better, put that on target. I think Beeston feeling that did take a deflection. So
it must have done, because it is a long corner. So
a bit harsh on him there, but nevertheless.
Good second prize.
Yeah.
And there's a player down, and that doesn't look good news. There's a knee, I think, being held in frame. It might be cramp, it might be a knee injury. We can't identify the player from this distance yet, but I do have the binoculars, so I'll have a look to see if I can find them.
We're short of nothing in the,
no,
the chapel, are we? That's
no expense spent.
James Hunt, is it? Just. So we still couldn't see.
No, but everything seems to be all right. This play is resumed. 8 minutes to play.
There we go. Some good possession from Beeston here. Look at the route into the D. That sometimes surprises me how players fail to actually look ahead. The aim is to get the ball going forwards. Sometimes,
It's a bit chaotic.
Yes.
And still looking, and Hallister Clift is back now on the field. A player I was watching because he was primed and ready to appear. So it's 11 versus 11 with 7.5 minutes to play.
Very slow play, Will Prentice. Get busy on the ball there. Make sure you don't give the East Grinstead players time to tackle you. That's better. Quickly moved on. Now there's a route into the D.
Tapped away from harm's way. Griffiths trying to get on the end of the ball.
Yeah, again, too easy for East Grinstead to get the ball. I thought that would have been a chance to make a tackle as well. I
think the first ball was won, but it was immediately given back to East Grinstead. The tackle was probably good, but unable to be cleanly taken.
Just thinking back to old Georgians last week, when they make those sorts of tackles, particularly players like Sam Ward and Chris Griffiths, they tends to stick with the player once they've made the tackle. Umpires causing havoc on that side, I think. So
oceans of blue space on the field for East Grinstead to work in at the moment.
This is that phase of the game now where a short corner would be, a penalty corner would be something very worthy of either side to win. So,
and also barring a serious challenge, you're not going to get that unless the ball's in the circle. So Beeston have got this to deal with, and that's been so close to being turned in for what presumably would have been the winner.
Yes, that's right. So as we say, 5-6 minutes out, anything can happen.
We have seen amazing things on this turf. There's an aerial ball flicked towards halfway. That's gifted back to East Grinstead, and they can control things in possession. There's a stab of a tackle to try and win the ball back. Body language not great from Beeston.
Yeah, 50-50 is falling to East Grinstead at the moment, and that's not a good sign really.
Ashdown trying to make a nuisance of himself. Also a Pooler looking to win the ball back high up the field, but it's needs to be a bit more heavyweight, I think, to try and nudge the ball out of East Grinstead possession that close to the halfway line. Allowed turn. Ben Mackey, number 16. There's the delivery into the circle. It has been tapped out of harm's way from the Beeston perspective. Second touch from Will Prentice.
Careless again. Just more attention to detail. Look how deep Beeston are there to get that ball away.
Rambu wants the ball. He's got his stick in the air and halfway. I think big set of changes. This probably is presumably the last set of changes for the game as well.
That's right, throwing the kitchen sink at it really, maybe from Beeston's point of view. Possession's all important now. That ball off the sideline on the far side was not helpful from Beeston's point of view. It's just to try and demand movement out of their higher players. They're getting very, very high on the baseline.
Well won on the 23-metre line. There's a turn and possession turned over again.
It's not helpful from Beeston's point of view to not be able to get these passes connected.
That one played in and not taken down on the first opportunity. It's over the baseline. 4 minutes to play. Is there a winner? Is there a twist in this game before the end of the 70 minutes?
Well, for either side, it's fairly obvious where the ball needs to be. You want it in your opponent's D, so if you're desperately trying to win a game, that's where it needs to get to as quick as possible.
That's pretty good stuff on the right-hand side, and that opens up the opportunity. East Grinstead having to turn and face their own goal as the ball's in towards the circle again, but it doesn't get a decisive touch.
Yeah, you sort of asked the question about the cross there. Really difficult to get on the end of something like that. You need the ball feeding around, crosses to be low and to a player within their zone of reach. I think Henry Cross just flashed it across the D, and really it's hard to create anything out of that.
Wood. Now in it goes with Finn Boothroyd.
A bit more work needed from Ben Collison there to get back into shape, a little bit slow.
Bouncing, and over the line for a long corner. 3 minutes to play. Tension really starting to build here. East Grinstead also building ahead of steam. Dan Faulkner is in the bottom left of the frame of your picture. I'm sure the ball's going to come to him in a moment. Yeah, there it is.
Go.
Moved out to the right-hand side to Wood. His route towards the baseline has been blocked, but it has opened up again.
Dangerous, very
Don't
dangerous.
give away a penalty corner. That's gone through a crowd of players, and Beeston just had to try and hang on.
Goodness me, how many warnings do you need as a player?
And that looks like
a penalty
corner.
Well, that really was a little catalogue of disasters there. I don't know, I couldn't see who the player was, but the ball was quite easily able to be taken away here. And look, a turnover. That if Beeston lose the game, the trigger point will be that turnover there. So could potentially be the last attack of the game, and it's falling to East Grinstead. Penalty corner, as we said.
I think there'll still be another 60 seconds to play.
Right.
So the ball needs to be down the other end for Beeston to potentially win it, but what they have got to face first is this penalty corner. And again, we were looking at Simon Faulkner, number 15. He wasn't utilised in the first run, but he's gone to the right now. He's moving to the left. He is. I
think you'll find that this is his.
This is the one that's going to go to the right-hand side, isn't it? So Beeston looking to defend.
There's a lot of work here to do for Beeston defence.
They may have a little bit longer as the clock's been stopped. It's now running again. There's the delivery, and that's been sucked on the line. That's the sound of a stick again.
Very good. Very good defence.
Beeston, one more throw of the dice. 90 seconds to play. Can they fling the ball down? Is there a route down towards the circle? It's what we're doing now. There's a stop for some reason. The ball wasn't being put back on the right area. And I think there was a warning given by the umpire.
Yeah, that's right. So has that stayed on the pitch? I think that angle, the angle of that aerial could have done with being a lot better. It's good work from Ben Collison. This needs to go to the D and not be turned over there. Goodness me, one place for it to go. And what an awful pass. What an awful waste of a pass. These guys will fight their way out of this. Is it won by Beeston? Yes, they've won it. Now this has got. There's only one place again for the ball to go.
40 seconds to go. It's worth gambling and putting those bodies in the circle, and you can see the movement towards the left-hand side of the screen. Ball needs to be rolling. In towards the circle, takes a touch, and the goalkeeper, Curtis, has to be involved. 20 seconds to go. Captain Griffiths gets everything going again. Paul with the ball into the circle. East Grinstead mop things up, and that might just be it as East Grinstead cross over halfway. Waiting for the ball is number 13, Finn Boothroyd.
To Beeston.
Griffiths batters the ball in, and that's been taken down beautifully. One more opportunity possibly. No shooting angle yet into the circle. Penalty corner is been called.
It has. Well, there's the time to win a penalty corner, because there's literally no time on the clock, so it's an overtime penalty corner at the end of the game.
And apologies for some of the language that may have bled through into the feed as well, because I think there's one or two unhappy East Grinstead players out there right now. But, so, Beeston have got a point in the bag. Can they make it 3?
Well, you need to put the kitchen sink behind this if it's Jamie Rawlings on the flick, or if they've decided to move the ball for a finish, they need to get every part of this correct. Chance to take 3 points from the game.
Beeston have not been ahead in the entire game. The final touch of the ball could mean that they go ahead for the only and final time in the game. Important penalty corner to defend. Beeston's first one in the first quarter wasn't so hot.
No. This is where you want to get every part of the routine correct. No mistakes, so at least, if nothing else, you get your shot on target. Potential follow-up. There we go.
Just watching the runners as well as they come out from East Grinstead. The trap is good. It's swept in low. The goalkeeper passes it away. It's still live in the circle. One more shot coming in. And that's been blown up against Beeston in defence, and that should be the end of the game.
I think that's right. I think it was lifted as the pass was made in. I think it was lifted by a Beeston player, so...
not sure exactly, because everyone's lingering.
Yeah, I think.
But handshakes and all appears to be well. I think it was maybe the way the ball came up, and it was...
yes, yeah. And on as even.
So it is a point apiece from an entertaining match here at Nottingham Hockey Centre. Charlie Taylor on 11, Gareth Griffiths on 42. Points are shared.
Yes, I think a bit of a sign of how the potentially the second part of the season will be as the league splits at Christmas time, and my expectation is that these sides will be in that bottom 6 scrap. So that'll be quite a battle for both of these clubs, I think.
What's the next on the agenda for Beeston? What would you be working on during the week? Because it seems straightforward to say, get the basics right, because that's what you work on every week anyway.
That's right. I think the way that they progress the ball to the D, maybe a bit of work with the midfield shape as to how they make sure that they get more travel through the midfield towards the D, and that kind of stuff. And then it does come down to the basics, because we have seen a lot of missed tackles and missed traps. We haven't seen so much of that with East Grinstead. Their basics look very, very good, but they did play a very steady build-up game, and it hasn't given them a lot of opportunities in the D.
On points, again, this is I'm not the one wearing the Beeston Club shop at the moment, but on points, you probably have to say East Grinstead would have deserved the points if it were.
Yeah, I think slightly. I think they had an extra penalty corner. I think they had more possession. But there were two distinct styles there. We saw the counter-attack style of Beeston and the progressive, steady build-up play from East Grinstead. A good contest from that point of view. And interesting, because in the last 5 minutes it could have gone either way, with both sides winning corners in that run into the end of the game. So it's quite exciting, that last quarter.
It was indeed. I think if I can be so bold, if Beeston can win the ball back high up the field and have runners coming onto those one balls, I think that could be a transformational thing, because the as you were saying about the success of the counter-attacks, if you can't build, then you've got to work on the things that are working.
That's right, yes.
It's going to be high energy, but we may see more of that as the season goes on.
Yes.
Beeston women, they are away today. They are presumably finished now against Holcombe. Not sure how that one's planned out, but it will be the women next here on BTV. Whilst we're searching a few things out, a few reminders as well. Many, many thanks to our headline sponsor, the Magical Mushroom Company, producing protective packaging at any scale by combining mycelium, the material structure of fungi, with agricultural waste such as hemp, cork and sawdust, and giving you safe, sustainable and only home compostable alternative to plastic foams. Looking at that, Beeston women won by 1-3 away at Holcombe. That's a big result.
That is a big result. I didn't really expect that to occur. So that's a a super result.
So the women continue their good run of form. Their results against Clifton Robinsons last week turns out it was a blip. What next for the men, by the way? The men are away next weekend, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right. Just trying to check who that was. Who was against? It's against.
Let me just check my list of information. So Beeston men, it is.
I seem to remember it was it Wimbledon?
Away at Wimbledon.
Wimbledon, yeah, I thought it was. Yeah, so that is a tough fixture. It would have been nice to have got the extra 2 points today, to have gone there with a bit of confidence from a win. But some of the stuff's been good. They have missed Robbie Gleeson, who does make that midfield for Beeston function better, and he'll be playing next week. Coach Stephen Wood back in place, so much to go at.
So we'll say it's a point earned for Beeston today at the
Yes.
office on BTV. It's been a pleasure keeping you company. Thank you, Stephen Musson, for your insights. And from me, Andy Day, we will see you next Saturday for more BTV action with the women who are playing at home against University of Birmingham. So trip up the M42 for University of Birmingham. That's next week's match on BTV.